Infinities. Finite lives, infinite stories. The life we live is destined by the journey our parents set out on, the struggles and triumphs in which they battled through to endeavour what their children have today. The ties within family can never be broken, as family is one, and the distance they go out to reach for greater prospects is the honour of what being a parent entails.
My name is Kathy and I am an Australian-born Vietnamese. As someone who was born in Australia, I believe that it is very inspiring to listen to people's stories, in particular those who have escaped their own countries in search of safety. I love listening to my father's story especially because he escaped from Vietnam when he was around my age, which I believe is absolutely incredible. If it were not for my father, I would not have the chance to sit here and speak about his experiences today. My father escaped Vietnam by boat in search of a life free from persecution and in search of new opportunities. He had made a small rickety boat together with his siblings and used that same boat to escape with a group of approximately 15 to 20 close friends and family. The journey that he went through to get to Australia wasn't as simple as it seemed. Pirates attacked his boat more than once or twice to steal prized possessions, and sometimes the waves that hit their boat were over 6 feet tall, rocking their boat violently. Dad managed to find a refugee camp in the Philippines and was able to stay there for almost a year. He was treated reasonably well there and even managed to learn some of the language. After a year in refugee camp, Dad managed to obtain his Australian visa and he was transferred to Adelaide, where he started his life anew. He tells me that he had difficulties at first adjusting to the new language, but he still managed to get a job and study at the same time, which I think is very admirable. He worked when he wasn't studying, and when he wasn't studying, he was working. He was able to balance work and study well for someone who had just arrived in Australia. He worked on a farm in order to earn some income to pay his school fees, as he wasn't supported by anyone else. He wanted to be independent, and he achieved that by arriving in a new country and working and studying at the same time. He missed his family back home and made sure to send them a bit of money every month in order to support them while he was working in Australia. Dad managed to reach university and his English had improved immensely from when he first arrived. I am thankful that my father was able to escape safely. However, it is difficult for me to believe that if my father had escaped around this current period, there would be a much longer processing period in Australia, which is incredibly saddening, as asylum seekers need to wait for a long time in order for their claims to be assessed before obtaining their visa. I believe my dad's story is incredibly inspiring, and those who have come from across the seas would probably be able to relate closely to what he has experienced. I'm also extremely lucky to have been born in Australia and thankful for everything that my father has been through in order to arrive in Australia. He has raised me from birth in such an amazing way. I don't think I'll ever stop being inspired by my dad and all his past experiences. My name is Kathy and this is our story.
Infinities.